Hello all. I want to share with you today a couple words that have been floating in my awareness lately, floating on my consciousness. And they are addiction and shadow. To me, these words are beautifully connected. And I want to share with you today my thoughts, my feelings, and my experiences with addiction. Even speaking that word addiction, I can feel the power in it. I can feel the power flowing through it as I express it. The three major and main addictions that I've experienced in my life have been sex, in particular what I might call addictive sexual behaviors, alcohol, and marijuana. I smoked marijuana from about my mid to late teens, and a number of times since then. For me, marijuana was a way to experience an escape from reality, an escape from what I was feeling and experiencing at the time. It was also a way for me to feel a high, to feel a euphoria that I wasn't otherwise able to feel. Alcohol for me has been a major part of most of my life and allowed me to be more emotionally expressive. And as I shared recently, for a lot of my life, I've lived through my mind. I've experienced my life through the lens of my intellect. So consuming alcohol allowed me to be more emotionally expressive, to share with myself and with others around me what I was feeling. Also to feel that high, that happiness that comes from having alcohol. Of course, this depended entirely on the mood I was in and what I was thinking and feeling at the time, and often resulted in my expressing anger, frustration, tears even. Sex for me was a way to feel close with another, to experience that companionship and oneness with another that I wasn't otherwise experiencing, but wanted to experience more of. It was a way for me to move away from those feelings of loneliness, of separation, of isolation, and more towards feeling oneness and companionship and closeness, even love with another beautiful being. It was also a way for me to explore that side of me and what I was feeling at the time. So at the core of my addictions, the crux of my addictions are really and essentially that they were the means and the vehicles through which I was able to feel and experience less of what I wasn't wanting to feel in that moment and more of what I was wanting to feel and experience in that moment. As those of you who read my blog posts will know, I love to explore words and language, especially etymology and how a word evolves and develops and comes to us in the form that it has. So I decided to explore the etymology of addiction. It comes from the Latin addicere. Ad is a preposition meaning to, towards, at. And dicere is a verb meaning to say, to speak, to state, to express. So addicere literally means to speak to say to, and came to mean to give one's assent to something or to someone, to agree to something. When I reflect on my addictions from this space, it shifts the energy of addiction into a much more gentle and loving and compassionate and kind space. I move away from, and I'm able to move away from, those energies of self-blame, of shame, of guilt, of in some way seeing myself as this, that, or the other because I'm engaging in a certain behavior or using a certain substance. And allows me to move into a space of much more compassion, of just loving myself and honoring myself in every way, and honoring and loving every part of myself, every aspect of myself. But it also allows me to realize that, and this is an expression that I love to use, it's a subtle shift on the expression, knowledge is power. Self-knowledge is self-empowerment to me. So the more I move into a space of realizing myself, my behaviors, my patterns, the cycles that I experience, perhaps the repetitive thoughts or the repetitive feelings that I experience, the more I'm able to realize that ultimately, completely, absolutely and purely the power is in my hands when I'm ready, when I feel able and willing and want to change if that's what I feel called to do. So in terms of my addictions, coming from that space of seeing them as my giving my assent to, my agreeing to a certain behavior, to the use of a certain substance, I can, when I feel ready and able and want to, however long that may be for me, allow myself to move on from these behaviors, from the use of a certain substance, and give my assent and agree to another path, to following another path, to moving into a different space. And that it is such a beautiful way to engage with my addictions, such a shift. It feels subtle yet so powerful to me. And so I wanted to share this with you, both to honor me and my journey and every experience I've had along the way, to realize that each has been a step along my journey to the person that I am today, to the place that I find myself in and that I am in today. And I also want to honor each and every one of you, wherever you are on your journey and whatever you're experiencing. So I thank you for allowing me to share this with you. I love each and every one of you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful, beautiful day.